With that, we can move on to our second work session, which is the Mounds program, I believe.
Thanks. Yeah. Okay, so take it down. All right, then you're gonna pull up. There you go. And then single slider, I should really minimize it. There you go.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, esteemed City Council members, Mayor Kavanaugh, City Manager Van Milligan, and city staff. We appreciate the opportunity to be able to present tonight. The Mounds site is such a unique asset to our programs and in the Dubuque community, and an even more unique public-private partnership. We're proud to be able to partner with the city in advancing critical goals and priorities from housing to workforce development to destination development at the phenomenal 100-acre site. We're grateful for your guidance and ongoing support in helping us steward the site and in our programs. This evening, we're going to give you a program update, overview and update. We're going to have a special emphasis on the holistic component because we've made some changes there. We will also talk about resource development, next steps, and then answer any questions that you have. Before we get started, though, I want to take just a moment to thank several city staff, I hope I'm not forgetting anyone, that we work with closely and on a consistent basis. Because without all of them, none of what we're doing would be a reality. So I'll start with Marie Ware from Leisure Services for her guidance, and thank her for her guidance and support regarding our site and programming. Terry Goodman and Justin Bilgen, who provide information on upcoming grants, other funding sources, and support government relations. Steve Faisal for his guidance on site stewardship and tree removal, which was excessive this year. As we all know, we've had a lot of rain. Dan Kroger and Tony Elskamp, who we work with very closely every year to put together successful summer day camp, adventure day camp. Chris Olson in planning, whose knowledge of the site and historical restoration helps in maintaining the highest integrity of our property. Alexis Stager in housing for her guidance regarding current and upcoming projects. Maddie Haverland for her oversight and guidance on our home restoration projects, which are currently located at 821 Garfield Avenue and 514 Angela Street. Nicole Lytle, who we work closely with on every home modification job that we complete, which we just reached 50. We have 3 in progress and 10 in tow. And the many city inspectors throughout the years that we've worked with on the gut rehab projects that we've completed. And we're also especially grateful for a sitting council member, David Resnick, who also sits on the Mounds board. We achieve our mission through natural, historic resource preservation and groundbreaking high-impact programs in education, workforce development, job training, and mentoring for community members with barriers to success. Our housing, education, and rehabilitation training program, which you all know as HEART, for youth at risk of dropping out of high school, has been our flagship program for more than 20 years. We've served youth faithfully through home renovation projects in the neighborhoods where they live. We're currently working on our 44th property. The homes we renovate take youth out of school for part of the day and onto a restoration site where they're learning skills, receiving mentorship, and getting help in planning out their careers. They're engaged in a meaningful way in hands-on work that has a community-wide impact, and it creates affordable housing in the lowest census tract neighborhoods. We've also spent the last 5 years increasing our impact through the program expansion, adding our adult programs. So we'll go over just a little bit of the outcomes for programs, but you also received some supplementary material that goes more into depth in what's happening at each of our sites currently and more detail into the outcomes. So in 2019, we added programming for adults to address workforce needs and, more importantly, to provide accessible, paid training opportunities for adults with barriers to employment. Since starting adult programming, we've more than tripled our staff, added 4 new program pathways, and have served over 170 young adults. Those served have been engaged in certificate or diploma programs. Oops, I changed the slide. Certificate or diploma programs through our partnership with Northeast Iowa Community College, or spent 3 months to 1 year on our transitional employment pathway, which takes place on-site at 4 Mounds. They participate on these pathways to overcome personal and work-related barriers, and regardless of the path they choose, all students receive soft skills training, financial literacy, mental health support, mentoring, and connections to employment. Our approach is truly holistic, and we're seeing really positive results. Pictured here is Isaac. Isaac is a young man who came to our program recently. He went through the Career Pathway Certificate Program in construction through NICC, and he is now on our transitional employment pathway. Isaac continues to develop marketable skills while also working on getting his driver's license and his high school diploma. For students in all of our programs, we track income pre and post program. We also have built in 3-month, 6-month, and 12-month check-ins for program graduates to provide ongoing support for students as needed, provide upskilling in some instances, and to help us maintain an up-to-date and robust data set. Our programs are working, and we have some exciting news to share. This past spring, our partnership with NICC was recognized internationally through the Learning Education Network. Out of over 100 nominations, our program model took first place. We were pretty proud about that. We feel that our programs are impactful. We're seeing the results daily. We see the individual and collective impact of our program model daily. We also know that the successful model is due in full to the holistic approach we use. On our transitional employment pathway, we have fully implemented our curriculum and amped up the holistic component by hiring full-time social worker Kanaya Madison. With that, I will hand it over to Kanaya.
Hello, my name is Kanaya Madison. I am a program social worker at 4 Mounds. I recently earned a master's degree in social work from Clark University. I began my intern at 4 Mounds for about 18 months before being hired full-time in 2024. I am passionate and empowering people and making a difference in the community, and I get to do that through my work with Heart students. I work one-on-one with each student, connecting them to resources, helping them set personal and career goals, and identifying support strategies that help them be more successful. This is the key ingredient to student success, and we're seeing really positive results. For an example, I am working with students on positive coping skills, building a positive network, and financial literacy, to name a few. We've concluded a slide that shows 4 Mounds' unique curriculum called Build. This curriculum was authored by Program Director Becky Bodish, and we're excited at the fact that it has the potential to be replicated on a large scale or in other communities. Students utilize this curriculum that is personalized to their goal. Each student selects 2 to 3 goal areas to focus on. The chapters are based on real-life situations that Heart students have experienced through our work with them at 4 Mounds. This is so important because it helps students understand that they are not alone and that they have the power to overcome any challenges. Here are a few examples of how we are putting this to action. Franklin. The best method of exploring careers is to actually perform work related to the occupation you're interested in. Franklin was a high school art student who always had an interest in becoming a chef. He is now enrolled in our transitional employment pathway, preparing to graduate from the program. During this time, he has worked as a busser and dishwasher at Tony Roma's. We've helped him work through advancement processes like receiving a Surf-Safe food handler training certificate and a culinary career pathway certificate through NICC. Today, Franklin is a full-time prep and cook at Perkins with many benefits including dental, health, vision insurance, 401k, and more. We are extremely proud of Franklin and all of his accomplishments. Laura. Laura has been enrolled in our transitional employment pathway for 3 months. The first day she stepped in my office, she already had a goal in mind: to use her voice effectively to be heard. She had experienced bullying in school and was taken advantage of in work environments. This was creating hopelessness in her life, and she was ready to build her confidence and find her voice. Today, Laura is working on a vision board titled, "Let Your Voice Be Heard." She is taking positive steps to build her confidence and will keep this board in her room for inspiration and affirmation of her goals. Isaac. Isaac comes from a traumatic background. He came to Fort Mounds to leave his past behind and better his future. Today, Isaac is working on positive coping skills, including seeking social support, engaging in physical activities, and promoting emotional growth, while working through difficult emotions that come up related to childhood trauma. Isaac is a hard worker, determined, and a delightful addition to the team. These are just a few of the incredibly unique, high-impact stories of each student we serve. We believe that each student we work with has the potential to be the best version of themselves. We honor this by treating everyone with dignity, expecting them to try their very best, and building a community of support they can lean on. This is why a HEART program is so successful in building futures of our students and also building the future of Dubuque community. I am happy to turn over to Ellen Goodman Miller, who supports our team through consulting resource development.
Thanks, Kanaya. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council, City Manager Van Milliken. We appreciate the opportunity to give an update on the HEART program. I am not an employee of Fort Mounds, but I have been contracted in resource development for the past 8.5 years. And in that time, I've been able to witness incredible growth and success, and I know that's in no small part thanks to our really strong partnership with the City of Dubuque. And just as the City of Dubuque is a really strong partner to Fort Mounds strives to be a good partner to the city. I think as Becky and Kanaya outlined, there are areas of goals and priorities that Fort Mounds is working to advance, from building the robust local economy and our workforce. The majority of adult students entering the Fort Mounds program have an income of $13,000, approximately medium, and by the time they complete program and are placed in a job, which is a 92% graduation rate, they're making $38,000 for starters with room for advancement. So that speaks for itself. With livable neighborhoods and housing, this team has partnered with the city and others to create 44 affordable homes in downtown Dubuque neighborhoods, frequently sold to first-time home buyers, which, as we know, is a key pathway in uplifting people out of poverty and onto pathways of generational success, or generational wealth. In addition to the 50 homes that this team has been in, working in upgrading the homes of seniors, not only is that service and compassion, it's poverty prevention. And we're really proud to be part of that effort. We're focusing primarily on the programs today, but as was mentioned, the sustainable environment and diverse parks and recreation experiences are also a big part of Four Mounds. Our team stewards 100 acres of rare oak savanna, prairie, woodland overlooking the phenomenal driftless Mississippi bluffland, which is beautiful, mind-blowingly beautiful, a lot of work, and such a treasure to the community. And further, the team works to keep that space open 365 days a year as a park. So it's a destination for folks inside the community and outside the community, and we're really proud of that. So it comes as no surprise that the work that we do that's aligned with city goals is also very fundable to grant makers and to funders because it's important work. Because of this, we have been continuing to build upon our dream of expanded mission programming and an enhanced site. For the past few years, I know Four Mounds has been speaking with the council and staff about the development of a workforce training and education center built up on the site at Four Mounds. We're proud to have the support of the ARPA swap funding from Dubuque County in the amount of $500,000. And this year, when we were at the City Chamber Fly-In in Washington, D.C., it was announced that Four Mounds would be receiving community project funding through the appropriations bill with the advocacy of Congresswoman Hinson through the federal government in the amount of $1 million to support this effort, which is incredibly exciting. We're so proud. It's an honor for Dubuque, an honor for Four Mounds. You know this is an involved process. It's through HUD. We'll have to be in lockstep with the city through this process. And so we look forward to keeping you apprised of these developments. And that's why you're not seeing any renderings on the screen thus far, because we'll be working through that process. We also want you to know that as we grow and develop, we are working to create sustainable fund development strategies in order to fund the growing programs, which are so needed in our community. This year, we have identified and received 5 new funding sources from grants, including the AARP, which reached out to Four Mounds because of the work we're doing on home modification projects, which is really exciting, to an unsolicited significant contribution at Christmas from the grandparent of one of our adult heart program students who they thought never would be able to live independently. So we have a lot of exciting funding opportunities going on as we near just a program budget of over $1 million a year just for programming. I will keep it short because I know we're running low on time. We do believe, like the city, that partnership is the way of the future. You'll see logos of partners on our last screen. This year, we are also working on significant board development and expansion. And so we ask you as a partner, if there are folks that you know that are aligned with Four Mounds' mission and vision, please send them our way because we're excited to be working with a consultant on growing our board and expanding our committees. And finally, oh wait, I got the screen here. Okay, we are working on what else is possible. Here are some images of the site work that's happening. We appreciate the city's support and partnership on this. We are working to maintain and grow and expand the 100 acres up at our site from installing new boilers, continuing to advance our master site plan with additional landscaping paths, increased accessibility. We do have a meeting set up with Justin in regards to potential funding resources as we work to continue to grow energy efficiency at the site and sustainability. And we do ask that you keep us in mind if there are other resources that you might come across that would be aligned with the 100-acre site and the energy efficient and sustainability upgrades that we need to advance. And last but not least, the images on the right are not a rendering. They're simply a screenshot from one of our board members' Pinterest pages. We continue to dream big and see what else is possible and imagine what else is possible for the site. So this is an example of that. This could be an amphitheater in the woods that would serve for weddings and events and gatherings and camps. So we're continuing to dream big about what else is possible at this amazing site with our awesome programs. And as you enter goal setting, you have already proven to be an incredible partner and to prioritize Four Mounds through your partnership. So we ask that you continue to do so. And thanks. We will take any questions.
Well, thank you very much, Becky, Kanaya, and Ellen, all three of you, for your presentation. It was a lot in a short period of time. There's a lot going on at Four Mounds. So I'll open it up for questions here or any discussion. Mr. Resnick.
Well, I didn't want to be the first again because I took up so much of the time with the last. But I'm very proud to be on the board of Mounds Foundation, Four Mounds Foundation. There's so much going on. And it's a great presentation, but in no way does it capture the breadth and depth and the quantity and quality of work that you're doing up there. So I know that you've had council members out there before, and I'm sure, when things get going, you'll want us maybe to come out and see live and in person all the stuff that's going on. And again, congratulations on that. I mean, to triple your workforce, to pay for that and all that, that entails to have that kind of success. Success is hard, isn't it? I mean, because it just there's so many things that you have to do to be successful. But success breeds success. And like you mentioned, so many funders are saying, hey, they got great things going on at Four Mounds. Now, my question to you is, a lot of great things are going on, but you would still, like to be considered for goals and priorities, I suppose. I'm guessing at that but as you've mentioned, the work with the city has been phenomenal, very cooperative, and that is the result of not only their day-to-day workability, but you have been prioritized and one of our highest goals. And we couldn't be prouder. I think I can't speak for the whole council, but it's just amazing what you're doing. And thank you very much for all the hard work. And it's really, where the rubber hits the road, it's helping our citizens. And it's a fantastic program you've got going. So kudos especially, I think Becky Bodish, I worked with her and my colleague at Clark. She's turned this into quite an educational facility herself, and with, of course, the entire staff. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mm-hmm. Ms. Farber, yeah.
You had mentioned from the get-go about the holistic department. Could you be kind enough just to share a few more words about that department?
Sure. So as we started adult programming, one of the things that was...
Becky, would you mind going to the mic, please? Just
Sure.
make sure we can hear you. Thank you.
As we started adult programming, one of the things that was most important to us was adding a holistic component, because you can teach anyone to swing a hammer, but if they can't get to work on time because they don't have a car, or they're a single parent, or addressing those barriers, and there are many, was priority for us. And so out of that, we started the curriculum. And that was developed around one student after the next, after the next, after the next. We were seeing a lot of similar scenarios with different individuals that we worked with. We were fortunate to get a rock star intern from Clark University almost 2 years ago. And she embraced our mission, she embraced our students, and we were fortunate also, again, to get the funding to hire her. And so the transition was seamless. The work she is doing is truly holistic. Students are working on their personal goals. They're also working on career goals, while also developing really diverse skill sets that make them marketable in the job place. So that credit goes to Kanaya, who's doing an awesome job.
Well, thank you for that. I think it's a great program. Sounds like a very responsible and personal mentoring program as well. And I think that the evidence is in all of the testimonials that you gave us tonight and are ongoing for not only the participants, but also for the city. And hopefully these are some of the future leaders and maybe some supporters of the Four Mounds, and someone that could be on your board as well going forward. So thank you very much.
I'm just going to add one thing. So future leaders, we recently just hired a former student who is coaching current students in different life skills. So it's happening. We're super proud of that.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the stories.
Ms. Rousseau.
Thank you. It's always so impressive to see what the students accomplish through the programs. And I'm wondering if you'd be able to share maybe some of the outcomes of some of the students, like you mentioned how their incomes have grown so significantly. Where are some of those students employed after they leave your program? Could you talk about that a little bit? Where do they go from there?
Sure. So though a lot of what we do is construction-based, and students are learning a lot through construction. Not all of them. In fact, probably less than half actually go into construction. They have different visions and different goals. So some of them are going into food service. Some of them are going into construction. Some of them are going into places like Adams Millwork and architectural. Lots of different places. Right Height, few different places within the community. Just depends on the student, their goals, and their skill set. Another bonus of having Kanaya on the team is that she's building relationships with community partners and going out and meeting them and talking to them about students when they are placed in positions. So we have that extra layer of support.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
As well.
I remember mentioning this. I don't think it was at when you did your last presentation a year ago, but when we were talking about housing, and I asked, could we just triple the program as it relates to creating affordable housing? And I think Mr. Van Milligan kind of said, well, that would be great, but there's a lot of time and people investment that you have to do in order to have the outcomes you have. I wondered a couple of questions. One, if you could speak to how you recruit your students. Two, do you have to turn students away because you don't have enough capacity? I think those were my main questions.
Sure. And we will triple the program if you give us the staff.
Right.
Yeah, we recruit through a lot of different avenues. Recently, something we're really pleased with is that a lot of students who are in the high school HEART program are coming into our adult programs. Typically, the goal in the past had been high school graduation for those students. And we have really great success with that. But then what happened to those students afterward? So that's part of the work we're doing, is keeping track of them. And we've had several that we've hired over the summer or that continue on in our adult program pathways. So that's one avenue. Another avenue is recommendations from Dubuque Community School District as students are graduating. We work a lot with Iowa Voc Rehab. They've referred several students. NICC has referred students. We've also had students in our career pathway certificate program that we partner with NICC. It's their program, we partner with them on it. Students that are in those programs that successfully complete the program, but they aren't quite ready for the workforce. And so they remain with us in one of our other pathways for upskilling. What was the second part of your question?
Do you find yourselves, due to capacity or lack of capacity, turning either high school or adult students away?
Not so much high school, but yes, we turn adult students away quite frequently.
So I know when I have been out to Mounds some time ago, you shared models of what potentially additional space could be. Could you speak to the capacity that you would hope for? Obviously, we'd love to triple the program, but even capacity you could hope for that you could ideally fill? Number of students?
Well, what we're hoping for with our new building is to double the number of students that we're serving each year. Obviously, we need to increase our staff to do that effectively. We don't have a staff person with 10 or 15 students. We have a staff person with 4 or 5 students. Yeah. That's part of what makes it so successful. So, yeah, we would like to double what we're doing.
Okay, thank you.
And think that's realistic.
Great.
Okay, well, I think we have reached the end of our time here for the work session, but I just want a couple of things that I wanted to point out that I thought were, that really caught my eye. First of all, we already talked a little bit more about the addition of this holistic programming, the addition of a social worker. Can I welcome? And I think it's, that was really impressive to hear that. And along with that, the recognition internationally for doing the things that you're doing. That's That's huge. I mean, you only had one slide on it, but that seems like a really big deal to me, that you got that recognition from an international organization. And then also, Ellen, you kind of touched on the exciting progress that you've been able to make from a funding standpoint. That's different than the message that I was hearing last year. You were making improvements, but I think it really shows this year. So congratulations on the work that you're doing, and thank you very much for doing it and for providing this service to the community. Thanks for sharing it with us, so to give us some things to consider. We do appreciate that and always appreciate the partnership. So thank you. Thank you. Well, there being no further business in the work session, we will be adjourned for about 2 minutes.